So I did a video the other day regarding the PlayStation 4 and PS5 DRM drama because it took the internet by storm, and even myself, because it just gave me an even bigger reason why I hate digital purchases or digital gaming. You might want to check out that video before you watch this, but to summarize what we went through is that someone found that on newly purchased digital games on the PlayStation 4, it seemed to have an expiry date of 30 days. So a lot of people were wondering what the hell is going on. Then they realized that on PlayStation 5, it was the same thing. Even though it didn't show that, it then came to the conclusion that you purchased games after the March update on the PlayStation 5, there needed to be a check-in every 30 days in regards to your digital purchases. Yeah, Spawnwave did a video, we spoke about this, where he disconnected the battery, disconnected from the internet, and the purchased digital games that he had did not work. So it was apparent that if in the future Sony servers went down, newly purchased games after that update, they wouldn't work offline. And I know a lot of people were commenting saying, how many people is this going to affect? For me, it's not about the amount of people it's going to affect. It's the fact that Sony and these big corporate companies want you to subscribe to their online services. They want to push you to buy digital games, and you technically don't own them, but they still want you to pay full price. And I would hate it that if I bought a physical game and in the future, for instance, Sarah, say it was a Ubisoft game, then they came knocking at my door and were like, listen, we're shutting down the servers, so we're going to take the game away from you. I would be like, no, I paid full price of that. He was like, yeah, well, we're shutting the service, so give it back. It is the same thing when it comes to their digital purchases. And for me, I want to preserve as much physical media for my son when he grows up. I want him to be able to look at these games and be like, wow, I want to put these in the PlayStation 5, the PS6. But there seems to be some good news. Now it is stated that you can play your purchased games as usual. Sony breaks the silence on this drama. A one-time online check is required to confirm the game's license. So I did say in that video that there was a possibility that this could be wrong, and we haven't had a spokesman from Sony speak out. We only had that chat AI bot which confirmed, yeah, you would need to check in every 30 days. But now let's give this a read. GameSpot was the publication lucky enough to get a response from the platform holder. So now it reads, players can continue to access and play their purchased games as usual. A one-time online check-in is required to confirm the game's license, after which no further check-ins are required. So this is where I get a bit confused, because I would expect and assume that when you purchase the game, that would be the check-in, that would be the one-time check-in. I'm assuming that maybe it's after 30 days, potentially you need that one-time check-in, and then if you're offline on your PlayStation 5 for, 2 months, those digital purchases would still work. But taking the spokesman's word at face value, all you need to do is connect to the internet once, and from that point onwards, your games will work like normal, regardless of whether you're online or offline. So seeing this is affecting digital games, which need to be downloaded from the internet, then this sounds like a non-issue. We still continue to follow this story closely. Anything else emerges. Now, I do think we're going to hear more in regards to Sony. Obviously, we do know what they said. You might want to go and watch that video before watching this one, but it's good news. It's good news in regard to digital purchases, because this is ridiculous that from games that you purchased digitally after that March update, it looked like you would be required to check in online every 30 days to confirm you have that purchase. It's like people don't understand, or maybe don't understand why people get so annoyed. When you're paying money for a product, you've made this, I want to buy it, here's the money, transaction done. I don't want any stupid online check-ins. I've bought the game. That's like anything I own in here, if I didn't use all my credit cards. But my point is, everything I've bought in here, it's mine. I don't need anyone to check if I still own this when I've paid the money and I've got the product. This is to do with Stop Killing Games initiative. This is to preserve gaming. This is to protect customers from not wasting thousands of pounds on these digital products, to then one day these companies, whether they go bust or not, okay, a lot of people say PlayStation will never go bust. Never say never, but I'm just saying that imagine if the network went down, and it has happened before that the PlayStation network has gone down. So imagine that happened. You were off for a week, ready to play GTA 6, for example, and just imagine you couldn't connect to the internet because you needed to confirm your digital purchase. You would be pretty pissed off because you've spent the money to buy that game. So this is a good thing for sure, 100%, but this still pushes me to continue to buy physical media, because I don't like where we're going in regards to digital media, and not just in the gaming space. I hate all of these subscription services. I hate Disney Plus. I hate Netflix. I even hate, used to like watching football. The fact that, some games are on Amazon Prime, some games are on here, it's like, mate, I just won't watch it at all. Like, I don't actually care. So that is why it's pushing me to buy more DVDs, more Blu-rays in the future. I don't think this will affect a lot of people in terms of what they decide to do in terms of continuing to support physical media, because as you can see here, one major company wasted no time chiming in. GameStop published its own statement emphasizing that this problem will not happen if you purchase physical games. And that is so damn true. Originally, plans were allowed to users to install physical games to their systems and then no longer need the discs. Instead, it would require online license checks. This doesn't go over particularly well. And if you remember, I'm sure you guys remember how well it went with Xbox. Back in the Xbox 360 era, the CEO, was it the director or CEO at the time, when he took the piss and basically said, if you don't have internet connection, then, we have the Xbox 360. And it's like, wow, what a way to try and get people to get customers to buy your next console, and that ended up being a flop.
So stick with 360, that's your message if you don't, like it?
If you have zero access to the internet, that is an offline device.
You remember how good it was when Sony mocked them in regards to how they did a cheeky ad of how to borrow a game.
Thanks.
PlayStation.
And yes, this is a good thing for sure, but my gosh, Sony need to remember, like, don't take the piss out of your customer base, or be a bit more transparent with what you're doing. It would go a long way. At least state in that update what you were doing. You wouldn't have got the backlash that you were going to get. Because if you said, listen, we've done an update on March, from going forward, there needs to be a one-time online check that you purchased a game. This is to avoid what happened to XYZ in the past. But the thing is, they don't really have the best communication, especially their customer service. Their customer service are the worst. That is why I would not want to freaking buy as little digital as possible, because trying to get refunds is the absolute worst when it comes to Sony PlayStation. When I've sent games back for like Mind's Eye, Last of Us Part 2, I've had no problems, because you just state the reason, boom, send it back. That's the problem. When you give these corporations literally all the power, they will take the piss. And I don't want to pay £70 for a game, and then in 5 years, they shut it down, and I can't play that game after I purchased it. But what do you think about the latest news here? Do you think this is a good thing? Well, obviously it is a good thing, but will this push you to buy more digital media? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know.